Hi, this is Karl with another Relax, Focus, Succeed video. Today I want to talk about social media, and in particular, how do you choose the right social medium for your business? So I want to talk to business owners and people out there who are in charge of your social media go-to-market messaging out in the universe. This is a case where it's really important to ignore most of the advice you hear. I'd like to remind people you should ignore all the advice except buying. That's a joke. But the reality is there's a lot of really bad advice, or I guess I would say there's a lot of very general or generic advice that may not apply to your business. So when you think about going out in the world, first you need to consider what kind of medium do you want to go to market with? Now, when I say that, think about all the kinds of social media that are out there. You've got, I guess, what I would call long-form media, such as Facebook, where you can say anything you want. You could blog on it. LinkedIn, you can write entire essays and a whole series of essays. They actually encourage you to do that. Then you've got YouTube, where you've got bite-sized chunks of data. And you could do shorts, which are upright videos and they reach one kind of audience, or regular videos that reach a different audience, or long form videos that reach a very specific audience. And then of course you've got TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and all kinds of stuff, right? You can't even count how many social media are out there. Marshall McLuhan has a famous quote: "The medium is the message." And there's a lot of truth to that, otherwise people would stop saying it. So when you think about the go-to market strategy for your business, think about how you want to come across. Do you want to be playful? Do you want to be educational? Do you want to be entertaining? Now, fun and entertainment are not necessarily the same thing. Here's a diagram of how I sort of divide the world of social media. When you think about the overlap between all the businesses on social media and those where it's appropriate to have an educational message, and those where it's appropriate to have a fun message, and those where it's appropriate to have an entertaining message, where's the combination of those that works for your business? Now, this entire conversation is worth having simply because you cannot pay attention to the big voices out there telling you you have to be on Clubhouse. Well, almost nobody's on Clubhouse anymore, right? You have to be on this, you have to be on that. You have to be on what makes sense for you. So a couple of considerations just to give you a tiny little checklist. First of all, where are your prospects? Where are the people that you want to talk to? That's going to depend a lot on your business, your product or service, and who you sell to. Do they hang out on TikTok? Do they hang out on Pinterest? Do they do their searching on Instagram? If that's true, you should figure out how to go to market with those things. A great example of current advice, so this is recorded in January of 2023. Everybody is saying, oh, you have to do short videos. You have to do these little things where people have no attention span. They have the attention span of a guppy, and that's where you have to go. Well, that depends. Are you a 12-year-old selling makeup? Are you an Australian fashion designer? Are you a small business? Are you a restaurant? You know, who are you? And then where are your audience? Where do they hang out, and what kind of messaging do they pay attention to? I suspect that no one in the history of the world has gone to TikTok to figure out whether or not they should buy one brand of luxury car or another. Oh, I'm really torn between the Audi and the BMW. I'm going to go to TikTok and figure that out. It might have happened, but it seemed to me that that would not be a high probability. So when I talked about that diagram with fun, entertainment, and education or information, What do you want to do? What is it comfortable for you to give to the universe? If you want to provide education, well, then you're going to have to pick a medium that is open to longer form information where people are going to spend some more time on it. Now, you might supplement that by having short form, low attention span promotions on other social media that point to your primary case. But you have to figure out what's your landing page, where do you want to send people, and then how do you get attention of the right people in the right place in the right frame of mind? Some people may get all their good information on LinkedIn, but they hang out on TikTok for entertainment. That's cool. If you can entertain them enough to get their attention to send them over to your essay on LinkedIn, that'd be great. The bottom line is you have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy, and it starts with a landing page, a call to action on the landing page, and then your social media needs to get people to the landing page. For the most part, your call to action on social media is going to be go to the landing page. Now, some people, and this isn't super common, but it is possible, have set up one of their social media channels as the landing page, as the place where they want everybody to go. So for example, let's say that you want everybody to go to your YouTube channel where you review lots of different things all the time. You give lots of information. Maybe it's 7-minute segments, 10-minute segments, 20-minute segments, maybe it's hour-long videos. Whatever your format is that you've chosen and you're comfortable with, you want to send everybody to there. So all your other social media is only intended to get people to go to your YouTube channel where you hope to engage them. Big picture, I encourage you to be very leery of the common advice that you hear that says, oh, everybody says you have to do this. So for example, some people will tell you, short videos are absolutely the future, and YouTube is pushing them, and everybody's pushing them, and you should do that, and if you're not doing that, well, then you're going to lose, and you know, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's true, but it depends on how you want to go to market, what voice you want to have, and whether or not your clients, your prospects, are hanging out on YouTube. If they're all over on Twitter and Pinterest, then forcing them to go to YouTube is not a very effective strategy. Now, you may say, well, some social media are so big that you'll be able to find enough people for you to talk to on any of them. And that is true. If you get a social media that has hundreds of millions of people, well then by all means, I'm sure you can find your audience. But you still have to go in with your message and your branding and your voice and present yourself in a way that people say, I want to do business with that person. And you have to go to market with a clear understanding of where the social media fits in the big picture. Too many people flush money down the toilet because they go do social media without any sense of what the bigger picture is. They don't have a plan. They just know that they've been told, you have to be here, you have to do it this way, and you have to follow this trend. And yet, the reality is, the people who are creating the trends always ignore the current advice, because there's going to be another trend in 6 months and a year and the year after that and the year after that for the rest of your life. Create your strategy with your plan of action. I highly recommend, like without a doubt, everybody needs a landing page. You need a website with a landing page with a call to action. Once you have that, then you can try different social media. Try a campaign for 6 months and see if you can get people to go to that landing page. See if you can get people to click on the call to action. Obviously, that landing page has to do its job, but once you've figured out how to make that work, then you can try different social media and different opportunities to try to get people to go to your landing page. And when you find one that works, fine-tune it, dial it in, see what you can do. But remember, your audience might also be following the trends, and so they might move from one place to another. You have to have a very intentional plan, and you have to measure the results. And if you're not willing to do that, I have to say, you are wasting your time on social media. If you are just doing what everybody says you should do, and that's going to change in 6 weeks or 6 months, well, your money's probably spent elsewhere. Please give me a call. I'll take some of your money and I will help you figure out something that'll work for you. Just some things to think about, but the bottom line is start with a landing page and then make sure that you've got a great call to action. And then you might be able to have some value from social media. In the meantime, I wish you tremendous luck in your business. This is Karl from RelaxFocusSucceed.com.